Hi everyone, welcome back to the weekly reading. This is for the week ahead for the 9th of March through to the 15th of March 2020. So before I talk about the astrology, I'm just going to show you the cards that I have here. So this week it is Earth signs first, so this will be your pile if you're an Earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo. This is air, so if you're a Gemini, Aquarius or Libra. This is fire, Sagittarius, Leo or Aries. And this is for the water signs if you're a Pisces, Cancerian or Scorpio. So pretty straightforward there. I'm just going to talk about the main stuff this week. We do have a lot building up in the next few weeks with a lot of the outer planets making really interesting aspects, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's not exact this week. So I'm specifically focusing on the energy this week from, as I said, the 9th of March to the 15th. So the main things this week are, today we have a full moon in Virgo. So very strong energy always with the full moon. And you know, Virgo is a very mental sign. Even though it's an earth sign, it uses its mental ability to organize the reality in a very practical way. So with this energy, you can feel a little bit on edge with the full moon in Virgo. Virgo energy does predispose one to feelings of nervousness and being a little bit highly strung, a little bit on edge, a little bit just like a nervous disposition. So because the full moon is in this sign, we could be feeling these energies. It does happen at 19 degrees of Virgo, and it does trine with Jupiter, so that is positive. But what you may find with this energy, you could be thinking a lot because, as I said, Mercury is what is ruling Virgo, also rules Gemini, but Mercury is a mental sign and a mental planet and a mental energy. And so this influence of Mercury coming in is basically trying to organize our thoughts, so which is not easy at the moment because Mercury, even though it goes direct today, which is good news, well, actually it goes direct tomorrow, technically on the 10th, which is tomorrow, but it still will be in a shadow period for a little bit. So it is going to be better this week with Mercury direct from tomorrow, but still we have to deal with a little bit of the shadow energy there. So the other thing is, we've had for quite a significant amount of time Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Now, even though Mercury is going direct at the moment, it's in Aquarius. It retrograded back to late Aquarius. The rest of this week it will move forward into Pisces. So Mercury in Pisces is still a bit confusing. The full moon in Virgo is making us feel a little bit emotional about what we don't understand because Virgo wants to organize the mental energy into, organization and the reality, you see. So you can see there's a little bit of a dilemma with this energy, I feel. You might be feeling this too. If you feel a bit anxious, if you feel a bit on edge, if you feel the need to organize your emotions, it could even come down to your relationships. If there's any relationships around you that are confusing, this is going to frustrate you around the time of the full moon because, as I said, Virgo likes to put things in its place and understand what the reality of different situations are. Virgo energy does not like confusion, it likes organization and to understand and have clarity around, certain situations. So what I would recommend for this full moon in Virgo is do things to help detoxify yourself mentally, physically and emotionally. If you have things that are bothering you on a mental, emotional level, it is a really good time to, with the other energies going on, release this tension, this stress through things that are healthy for you because Virgo is about the physical body and the health of the body and the health of the body-mind connection. So things like yoga, exercise, getting out to nature, doing practical things, so using your hands to create things, channeling excess nervous tension into practical things. The other thing is this week, there's more with that full moon. I could go on and on, but I won't. I'll just leave it there because I feel like that's the main stuff. Just want to say if you are feeling anxious, it's very likely connected to that full moon. Also, another reason you could be feeling anxious this week, there's a bit of anxiety in the air because Sun and Neptune are conjunct. And when Sun and Neptune conjunct, there's a strong sensitivity, a psychic sensitivity and emotional sensitivity that's highlighted. Now, Neptune on the lower side can be confusion energy, can be sort of feeling mentally a little bit foggy and just not feeling very clear. And so combining that with this full moon in Virgo and the need to have clarity, we may not have clarity but we want it, and so that could cause a dilemma and a frustration. But that's why I'm suggesting if you can do things this week, especially early part of the week, to look after your health, to detox, to simplify your life, to declutter things. And when I say declutter, not just physically but mentally and emotionally, let go of things that you just are struggling with, that you're having trouble understanding, rather than going over and over, you know, going over and over them in your mind. You can tell Mercury's still retrograde, I'm having trouble speaking. It's best to just release them, is what I'm trying to say. So Sun-Neptune conjunction also this week on Monday, and it really only lasts a little bit longer, a couple of days more. This energy will be around. This can make you feel very sensitive to energy. So if you're, say, for example, in the workplace or in an environment where there's people around you that are toxic or difficult, it's really going to affect you this week, because there's so much heightened energy with the full moon and the Sun conjunct Neptune. Also, Sun conjunct Neptune on the positive side helps you feel more in tune with your intuition. Can help you with that. It can also help with creativity as well if you're a creative person. It can bring you healing experiences as well if you're open to that, if that's something that you're already experiencing. Psychic and healing experiences. What else have we got this week? Oh yeah, the Venus Uranus conjunction, I did mention it last week. It's still active on Monday, so it's exact today. So Monday is kind of a very intense energy for this week, with the full moon, Mercury starting to go direct, and the Venus in Taurus with the Uranus in Taurus conjunction. But there is a focus this week on health, work, routine, and mental clarity with all these energies going on. Okay, let's have a look at the cards now. So this is going to be for the Earth signs. So Earth, you guys have Saturn return age, you have trust, and you have the Page of Swords. Okay. Saturn return. Well, some of you Earth signs may be possibly experiencing your Saturn return. Or you're dealing with, could be something to do with responsibility. Older people, possibly, you know, a parent is figuring more significantly in your life at this time, possibly an aging parent it can be, or concern about a parent's health for some people. For some people it can be dealing with authority, whether it's the authority of others around you or coming into your own authority. The trust card is important here, I feel. So interesting here, we have a repeat of repeating numbers here. I just want to point this out because it's always very interesting when this happens. So we have a 5 down here, the Saturn return. And then 32, 3 and 2 is 5. So always with the numerology, break those down. So 5 is about creativity, independence, independent thinking, and change as well. It's really about change. So this week there might be some change around Capricorn, Taurians, and Virgo people. The Page of Swords is a young... It can be a younger person or an emotionally immature person. It can be someone who, you know, has a lot of learning still to do on an emotional level. It could be an air sign that you're dealing with, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. There is something that this person, I'm really drawn to that eagle there. So this person may have some Scorpio influence in their chart. So they may have air and water, or air and Scorpio together, because the eagle really jumped out there. The eagle energy comes through as this person has a lot to learn on some level, and they may be prominent in your life at this time, or they may be, you know, there could be a child of yours, there could be a young person that you're connected to, it could be a friend or someone that you have a romantic connection to, or this could be something of what you yourself are going through where you need to learn something. And what you're learning, if this is you, is to do with boundaries, because Saturn comes up here, but also trusting in a process that you're in, which you may be finding difficult to trust. Okay. For other people, there is some kind of communication coming into your life this week that is significant in some way. And with Saturn here and the Page of Swords, for some people this could be a communication where something changes. So either it could be an ending or a new beginning. Somebody could make a decision that changes the direction of a situation this week. It could be you or someone close to you. But I really like the trust card here, because it's really asking you to get out of your own way and sort of get out of your own head a little bit, because this card can also signify being in the mind a lot. But there is a need to trust. There is a longer cycle going on here that, you know, with the Saturn card here, which may be difficult for you to understand in a logical way. It may not make a lot of sense to you at times. You may be struggling to understand something here to do with a relationship or a situation. But it's asking you to have patience and trust, even though it doesn't make sense in some way right now. And trust your own intuition is what I'm getting, Earth signs. So there may be something that you're even thinking of cutting out of your life, because Saturn can be about endings and new beginnings. With the Page here, yeah, there can be something that you're thinking of cutting out, but you're just not 100% sure yet. And you do have the Trust card, which is saying listen to your intuition over and above everything. So not to get too stuck in your mind this week, because it might sort of lead you to do something prematurely, is what I feel for most people there. But again, you should always listen to your intuition over anything that a reader says. I always say that. All right, so let's go for the air signs now. So that, oh, interesting. Well, this is an air element. Libra energy comes up here with the Justice card. So Libra energy comes up. Focus, the need to focus. Another 5 comes up. And a 9, 12th house escape. Interesting, the 12th house energies come up because we do have the Neptune strong this week. Okay, so for some people, there may be some very difficult situations, if you're an air sign, with your relationships, because Justice card can relate to karmic relationships. The 12th house escape card means that things maybe are a little bit trying for you at this time in your relationships, and you want to escape and get away from it all and sort of get out of this thinking of this karmic energy around your relationships for the air signs. Interesting, we have a butterfly here, which is often associated with Gemini. Butterfly here. And the number 5, which can be a number that is associated with, as I said, change. And Aquarius and Gemini are big on change. Not as much as Librans. I mean, not so much the Librans, but Gemini and Aquarius are. So there's something here about possibly for some people getting away with the 12th house escape card. But for some people, there's something here about needing to look at the reality of your situation and really feel your emotions about it, rather than trying to cut yourself off from your feelings and just escape out of it through, you know, surreptitious ways, or ways where you go into denial, or ways where you don't admit your feelings to yourself and you just feel more like you're tied to something and you feel stuck in it. The Focus card is asking you to really focus your mind on what it is that you want. You know, it's about getting a bit more balance in your life and allowing yourself to listen to your own heart, your own truth. You know, the Justice card can also be about truth. And for some people, there's something around contracts, marriage. Again, this may be only a few people or 1 or 2 people. And wanting to sort of get away from a situation that's very difficult. It could be a karmic marriage or a karmic relationship that feels very challenging to you and you just don't know what to do with it. The 12th house can indicate confusion. But what I'm getting here is, for some people that this relates to, focusing more on what you want is going to be very beneficial to you, and it's going to lift you out of being trapped in this, because it's like you feel, what I'm getting is too much self-sacrifice for some people, and it might be more so for the Aquarians, that there might be this element of feeling like you're sacrificing your happiness for a situation that you feel you just have to go along with. But it's asking you to get focused and not be so distracted by meaningless things, but things that are actually meaningful, so you can push yourself out of a situation that is a karmic situation, but maybe you felt like you're at the mercy of this situation, you just didn't know how to change it. So that's going to be for some people. I'm just going to see if there's any other messages for other the other air signs. It's interesting because, you know, the Justice card normally is a very good card, but I get a very heavy energy with this. And the Justice card definitely relates to relationships, being it is Libra. Look, for some people it can be legal issues, legal contracts, or karmic connections with others that have just bogged you down or have caused problems in your life. And what I'm getting, if this relates to you, this message now, where there's been some negative energy coming from other people and some confusing energy, some toxic energy, it could be friends, could be groups, could be people around you. There's a need to focus now on what your passions are and transforming your life from the inside out, rather than sort of getting caught up in these negative associations, but more so focusing on where the beauty is in your life and how you can continue to enhance that. I really feel there's such a beautiful energy with this Focus card, and it's about focusing on what you have to offer, what you've got to give in the world, and how that's a beautiful thing, and working on that rather than sort of trying to get things from other people or get justice in some way, but it's becoming negative. So that, again, that's just for a few other people. So for others, there's something about spiritual awakening here going on with the third eye, and also with the Neptune 12th house influence here. There's some messages coming from on high, from your guides. For some people, there's a feeling coming through that I'm getting very strongly of tapping into a whole nother level of your spirituality, of your gifts, and of understanding something spiritual. So it could be to do with, astrology, mysticism, spirituality, dream analysis, understanding your dreams, things that are very have a beautiful creative spiritual energy to them. So yeah, all right, let's move on. So the next lot is for the fire signs, so Leo, Aries and Sag. The Star, wow. Second house and darkness. Ooh, some interesting energy here. So there's something about money that comes up for the fire signs this week. So there may be some either concerns of money, since it's next to the Void card with the number 4. And this is 8, so it can be money that you earn or money that you have to pay through debts as well, because of that number 8 here. The darkness card is interesting. It sort of shows that it might be a bit of a depressing time for you fire signs just at the moment. There may be some heavy energies to do with debts, problems with finances, trying to balance your finances, feeling like you don't quite have enough to cover everything that you need at this time, which could be causing you some frustration. Worries about security and stability come up here. And but the Star card here, which is Aquarius energy, is very hopeful, and it actually is saying, even though you're going through something here to do with money and maybe concerns about money, how much you're earning, really focusing on work and having to be very focused with that, and maybe you feel like you don't have much time to do enough of what you love to do with this darkness card. It's like you feel like you're in a bit of a Groundhog Day sort of energy here. The Star card is very promising here. It says you are working towards something, fire signs, that is related to creativity, to a passion, to healing as well. So I feel like it's a pretty simple message this year, for this week, not this year, this week, for the fire signs, to say that, okay, things are a little bit challenging for you at this time. You are earning money, you are, paying your bills, but there is some stress around it still. You feel like you're not being creative enough, is what I'm getting with this. You feel like you're not tapped into that flow of life to that level that you really would like things to be at, financially in particular. But also creatively. But this is saying there is hope for that. There is hope for you to tap into more of a creative aspect of your life. But you just need a little bit of patience, because the Star card does promise you these things are coming in, but you just need a little bit of patience at this time, for this week in particular. The last lot is a water sign, so Pisces, Scorpio and Cancer. Strength, discernment. Oh, water element, how appropriate. I love that. All right, so we have the water card for the water signs. Discernment is interesting, because discernment, to me, I always think of the word discernment associated with the sign of Virgo, which is, if you're a Pisces, that's your opposite sign. So Virgo energy is about really sort of analysing things. Interesting, because we do have the full moon in Virgo, and this does make me think of that very much. Discerning situations and looking at situations in a way that helps you see things a bit more clearly. And it might involve some analysis of, a certain person's behaviour or a situation, or for some people it might be work and career, because I do have number 10 on that card. It's quite promising, though, in the sense that, again, I'm getting the word patience for the water signs. The Strength card is saying you do have to be very strong right now with what you're going through. This is a testing, challenging time for you in some way. More so emotionally, because the water element comes up to sort of emphasize that there's something emotional going on for you this week that is sort of, it could be around home life or just your deeper self, because of the number 4 here, or family, home or family, or a relationship, either that or career, or balancing both, because I have 4, which is the 4th house, and 10, which is the 10th house of career, so opposite houses. So balancing work and career and the things you need to get done in the world, and your home life and your family, and if you have children, or home to look after, pets even. So whatever you do in the home, you're trying to balance both ends of that. For some people, this is very emotional energy I'm picking up of it, and this, for some people, is about a relationship where you've struggled with this situation and you have the Strength card. But what I'm getting with this is you've had to learn some very deep and powerful lessons through this connection. It hasn't been easy because of your emotional side and your emotional nature, getting caught up in this very intensely, which oftentimes we can't help when we have deep feelings for a person, but it is saying that you have the strength to get through this, that you're learning some very interesting soul deep lessons with this. And it's allowed you to actually refocus on yourself. Whatever's going on with this connection or with this situation in your life, this week I see you focusing on yourself, on what you need to get done. I just get such a Virgo energy with this. So I want to say practicality, routine, health, work, organization, and really focusing on you and your inner strength and working on that this week is what I see for the water signs. You may feel a bit more emotional this week, the water signs, especially with that full moon in Virgo, especially if you're a Pisces in particular, Pisces rising, sun or moon. So that was the reading for this week, guys. Thank you so much. If you would like a private reading, go to the links below, and talk to you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.